Hey guys, Freddy here. Must be time for another subbing story. So my fourth year of subbing. Pretty much the unthinkable happened. My second year, already touched on, my second year was not my best year. It brought some things out of me that I never want to see again, and I kind of lost faith in humanity a little bit as a result of that. The third year, my entire third year of subbing was basically just working as an elementary school sub. So I really didn't sub for the older kids all that much. I mean, I didn't mind taking jobs for the older kids. It's just, wasn't my cup of tea. And then year number 4 happened. Specifically, one particular middle school journalism class. Now, this was October, so I had already subbed for an entire month straight at an elementary school, as they were looking for someone to fill the position I was subbing for. So I take a job at the middle school where I'm from, and while I'm working, I take another job for the same middle school for the next day. So then at the end of class, I'm like, okay, who's got the typing teacher tomorrow? One girl raised her hand, and I was like, okay, how are they? And she said, well, we can be pretty loud. And I was like, all right, bring it on. So I end up subbing for said typing class all day long. Bunch of 6th graders. And then comes the journalism class. And so I'm like, all right, heard you guys like to be loud, so maybe don't do that. Like, work on your work. And oh, by the way, just a side note, this principal at this building, like, on the back of the place where you're supposed to write a note for the teacher, he has this, like, notes that says, if basically boils down to, if a kid even looks at you funny, send him to the office. Which, I mean, I get what he was going for, but anyways, so I'm like, alright, here's this letter. Says, if anyone even so much as looks at me funny, I will send him to I have the right to send him to the office. And so they agree. So then I guess one of the kids gets done with his work or something, and so he asks, hey, Mr. Bond, you want to be a teacher eventually? And I was like, no. Well, why not? because it is a long, sad story, and it's one that I probably won't post on this channel, but it's a long, sad story. But, he said, well, what do you want to do with your life when you grow up? Or what do you want to be when you grow up? Ignoring the fact that I was already, 24, 25. And so I actually have my laptop in front of me, and I say, well, it's funny you should ask, because I am just filling out this questionnaire because I want to be a pastor. And in the past, that's gotten mixed reviews. I remember the first time I told a class that some kid actually did the you know what salute that is accompanied by walking in the manner of a goose. Whatever. Pray for that kid's salvation. But yeah, usually it did not go well. But this entire journalism class, 6th graders and 7th graders, but mostly 8th graders, they just exploded and said, "Oh, you're the best sub ever!" And it really restored my faith in humanity at that point. And by the end of the hour, I didn't know all of them's names by the end of the hour, but they basically considered me found family at the end of the hour. And I was laughing and joking around with them like any big brother would. Like, there was this one kid who was about to move districts, and I was like, well, good luck, and only lasted a couple weeks before she moved right back into the district, which was awesome. But I think that was on a Friday as well, in this particular middle school. Had like games that you could play, like card games or whatever, on Fridays, and you could pick what teacher you wanted to hang out with. Well, a bunch of those kids wanted to hang out with the journalism teacher, and so a bunch of them ended up after school, or after the school day was over, just hanging out in that room, and so we got to spend a little extra time together. But like throughout the entire rest of the year, they made a beeline for me whenever they saw that I was in their class. And it's just really heartwarming, you know, to know that a little thing like wanting to become a pastor can endear you to so many kids. And that particular district, very, very Christian focused. I mean, I know separation of church and state, whatever. But that entire district is has a very Christian bent to it, and it had ever since I was a student. And all those kids are still in school. Those 8th graders are now seniors. But won't be long before they're out in the world. And I really hope the best for all of them. Because I know pretty much each and every one of those kids in that journalism class has the potential to make the world a better place. And I can't wait to see what happens when they do. It's days like that why I'm not looking forward to stepping away from subbing. It's kids like that why I'm not looking forward to stepping away from subbing. But glad I got to spend time with them and have them impact me while I could. And if I've impacted any of them for the better, it's the honor of a lifetime. But so if any one of those kids is listening, just know that you really changed my life and brought back my faith in humanity. And I hope that you continue doing the same for others, whether it be your peers or whether it be grown-ups like me. And continue doing what God asks you to do too. Because He's never failed you yet, and He's not going to either. So, that being said, don't do anything you'll regret.